Welcome back to the English broadcast of the LPL Week 8 and our special Wednesday broadcast because it is Snake versus EDG and it's come down to the wire 1-1 in our best of 3 into our final game. And Snake, well, they didn't manage to win the last game and EDG did look better, but I've got to ask you guys, who do you think is going to take this series now that we're in essentially a best of 1?
EDG.
I'm gonna go with Snake.
Oh, you traitor.
Ooh.
Why am I the traitor? What?
Because
We're not the EDG squad.
You said EDG would win. That's why you're traitor.
He's always been a Snake fan at heart. Do you remember at the start of the split? He was like, which team are you interested in?
My
Snake.
Zodiac signal is the Snake.
That also
he's a pig, by the way.
I'm a boar, by the way.
Okay.
I'm a sheep. It's fine. Following the herd there with the EDG, the TSM of the LPL. But I want to say why EDG are going to win. I think that they've shown better growth. Like coming into this match, I heavily favored EDG because they had shown that growth. They'd shown the versatility in their draft phase. They seemed to have a good read or fixed their read on the 8.4 meta. It was very rough before. Not necessarily really sold on their mid-game compositions, felt that that was really risky, but I don't think they'll do it in the last game of a very must-win BO3 for them. I think that they're going to go back towards a scaling ADC. I think we're going to see a tank up into the top lane. And I don't think Snake can fix what's broken in terms of their bot lane. Constantly, they've had issues where they need to move SOFM onto a different jungler, and they just don't do that. They try to fix other pieces in either the bot lane or the mid lane.
Sure.
So I don't have the confidence that Snake will find the right pick for the jungle that they need to win this series.
And it seems like EDG kind of have the blueprint, Clement. So how is Snake going to bounce back?
I feel like we have a difference in opinion on what points they're going to fix throughout this series. We do see that Guo and SOFM are the stronger duo, but they had not necessarily been utilized. They've been very restricted in terms of what picks they're given by the coach. And I think this time around, if they can see through that, they can probably play around the jungle. If they give the good jungle matchup, the Olaf first pick or something, to SOFM and just bully the mid out, I feel like they have a very strong control. They're like, we're seeing things through the same lens, but you're basically saying
I'm just
they're
not
not going to fix it.
Do it.
And I'm like, okay, this should be pretty obvious. I have faith in you, Snake.
The lawn's on fire and they just walk out with the garden hose like, huh.
Okay, so what does that specifically look like? You said they're playing around those picks and you want to see something different from mid and jungle. What does it actually look like?
They don't have to first pick for Guo right here. I feel like they could let that priority slip a little bit, try to play through him and the strength of SOFM. Throughout this series, they have been bullying Haro out most of the time. If they can play through that and just shut down the bottom side of the map, then that gives them so many advantages. Shutting out the bot side of that takes away their blue buff, also takes away the strong lane that EDG have in Iboy and Mako.
Yeah, the Olaf is the easiest answer because Snake have been the ones that have been banning it from blue side when they could just priority pick it, but I agree with Clement. If Snake want to win here, I would like to see SOFM's champion pool be prioritized before Guoguo's. I almost said it. Pool?
Pool.
Kiddie pool?
With that. But yeah, for sure, SOFM bringing out the Gragas in the last game. It was okay in theory, but didn't execute as much as we wanted to.
And we did hear Ning talk about the Gragas pick previously in the interview. He says that it's a kind of a weaker version of the Sejuani pick. You're weaker early on, your clear isn't as good, you can't push your leads level 3, level 4. But late game, we achieve kind of the same things outside of the fact that I don't tank. So it's just like a worse Sejuani.
That's how I want all of my picks described. I could have had a real tank at the top lane, but I just have a worse one in Urgot. I could have a real jungler, but I just have a worse Sejuani and Gragas.
And that's the interesting point. It's about what you're getting in return for that worse Sejuani. You have to get something really good. But in Snake's previous draft, for getting a worse version of Sejuani, they got a pick that was countered in the Rise. So that didn't work out for them on either side.
NoFa's having a bit of a giggle right now. I think he's feeling pretty good about that last draft.
Well, I definitely saw the Snake coach beeline it to Flandre just before they sat down, so wonder what they're talking about, whether there will be a change in the top side as well.
Here's our secret strategy, Vladimir.
Now, don't tell anyone.
Are you sure, coach?
It's a bit of a bold move.
No, NoFa's been with EDG now for, what, split and a half? 2 splits, 3 splits now? And the thing is EDG, they've notoriously been pretty terrible in their draft phase. They've had 3 different coaches, Aaron, Rabbitstar, and NoFa. They've fumbled a lot of them over the course of the LPL. They've always been slow to adapt to patches to try to pick it up. And so we are seeing better things. I actually think this is the best drafting that EDG have done in their entire existence as an organization. And that says something because there's still some holes in it.
Are you telling me you don't like Lucian 3 times in a row?
Not a fan.
But what if we're RNG?
Not a fan. Tell them to Jing Dong.
Yeah, very, very true. Well, we're a couple seconds away from getting into Champion Select here in the Snake Pit.
EDG blue side.
Ooh.
This changes everything up.
Well, Tamkench actually gets banned by Snake on this one. And it will be a Scion ban as well towards EDG.
The biggest thing you should note here is that Snake is going to have to counter pick towards Ray in the top lane. Now, when EDG usually go on red side, they leave the last pick for Ray just to make sure he has a good matchup, but he can't do that anymore.
Which is why you see 3 top lane bans, Gangplank, Gnar, and the Vladimir, because they are trying to get Ray the best possible champion, or more likely, the only available champion.
Cho'Gath.
Cho'Gath. But there is no Vladimir in this one. It has been banned out against Flandre, including Gnar and Gangplank, so triple top lane bans towards Snake, and Olaf will be a ban towards Haro.
Now, I think the Sejuani pick makes the most sense here. It's one of Haro's... Oh my god!
First pick, Alistar for Mako. Left turn.
I told you, Alistar was going to get through. Snake don't think the problem is the Alistar.
To be fair, I thought it was because Snake were going to be on blue
all
side.
All right. I'm just saying, I feel like they're not going to ban it because they feel like they can lose lane to Shen too. So it doesn't really make sense to me, for me if I was the coach.
I just feel it's so dangerous. So right now, Snake are then put in this situation where they're looking at Ray's champion pool and they're saying, okay, they've got 3 top lane bans. We have to grab the Camille because this, other than a tank, is really the only successful champion that Ray has pulled out.
Yep. Not a lot there. It will be the Camille pickup along with the Sejuani for SOFM. So it's the better Gragas, and then EDG will also pick up Varus.
That is such a gamble, though, to allow Alistar to go through this draft phase. Because I agree with what you're saying, Clement, that they think that they can just absorb it and be okay. But I just feel like
I was actually saying they were going to get destroyed either way, so it didn't matter.
I like to put a correction in.
But what this does set up for Snake is that they're trying to split sides of the map, and unlike my prediction, they're actually trying to split for the top side. They're going to go all in on Ray, and they're trying to look for something very safe for Crystal.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, change that.
Well, Crystal's hovering his signature Draven pick. He's not the only Draven one-trick in the LPL. Jackie Love also there, but Ezreal makes the most sense, because like Clement is saying, this is all about Camille up into the top side. If you're going to throw that many top lane bans, Snake are just throwing the gauntlet down and saying, we'll match you up there. So Ray, what do you got?
I'm just toying with people's hearts there with the Draven Hover. Also, will be a Rise pickup for EDG. That will go to Scout. And an Ezreal for Crystal in the bottom lane. So still looking to not die.
This could get even worse, though, for Ray up into the top side. Because if Snake wanted to, they can continue to pinch that pool. And the Camille doesn't necessarily have to go up in the top lane. Oh, never mind. It's
there we go.
I was going to say, like, SOFM has played it. Now I was excited. Now I'm sad.
Support Sejuani. Camille in the jungle. That's
good. SOFM.
It's going to be 2 top lane bans.
Definitely.
It's Gnar and Cho'Gath. He's donezo.
Gnar's already banned.
It's even worse.
Oh no.
What else do you ban from here?
He still has Maokai and Ornn. Not that I like either matchup.
Yeah. Well, he still has Urgot.
Another matchup I don't like.
Poppy.
A Poppy's the right one. There is still a Fiora or a Riven that he could possibly go to.
But
Riven
is the big carry.
The Fiora has been the go-to in the LPL, but Ray is better known for his Riven, and Fiora has not found the success of the Camille that she really wants to. I do like the Poppy. I think Poppy is actually a really good matchup into Camille.
Yeah, for sure. That has been banned away here on Snake's side, and Galio will be the final ban towards Guoguo. So Snake, over to them.
Shin support.
Locked
wow! What is Ray gonna play?
Ooh. Holy crap.
They're taking everything away from him.
This is like table scraps.
Well, Ray does have a pretty big champion pool, but how many top lane bans have there actually been? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With the Camille and the Shen. So 8 potential top laners.
It's gonna be the signature. Please don't let that be Jungle Jarvan. Let it be top Jarvan.
Or maybe Rumble comes out.
That's what Ray's famous for.
That's a horrible matchup for Camille against Camille, though.
He still has Rumble. We know he can play Rumble.
Yeah.
It might just be a Tunk.
I like the Jarvan here because it does have early strengths over the Sejuani, so you're not automatically going to fold in the top lane.
We're all looking at it.
This is actually a decent matchup. The Renekton, we have seen a couple of buffs to his Q, and also we have seen Smed play the Renekton into this matchup.
Yeah.
but it's also been tried by, I believe, Marn in the LPL, and very hit-and-miss success.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's very risky.
And both of those games so far, I believe, were from Marin, actually. 50% win rate on TOP right there, and that will be locked into the top lane. So we will have the Renekton and Camille matchup.
Well, my prediction was completely wrong. I thought that EDG would go for a late-game scaling composition, but again, it's a very mid-game focused comp for them.
I think the idea here is sound, though. We're not going to let you win the top lane, and our bot lane is going to crush. That's just how the matchup actually works there. So as long as Ray can hold on to his life, EDG have a winning strategy moving into the mid-game.
Yeah, moving into the mid-game, but if they don't close in mid-game, Snake will run away with the series, and I cannot stress this enough. This is battle for first. Currently, if the playoff bracket were to shift, RNG, WE, EDG, and Invictus Gaming are all on the exact same side of the bracket. EDG need this win so they can get away from all of those teams.
Yeah, because currently Suning Gaming, Billy are just, they're throwing a party right now. This is like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to us. So really needs to try and get this win on the board here for EDG. And as you said, really going to be mid-game focused, I should say, because in the mid lane is Azir. He will be scaling and he will get big.
And for me, the signature pick from Snake is that Shen. I think Shen can throw a huge wrench into any plans that EDG have to get anything in the early and mid game going, because it can deny so much. And so many LPL teams fall into the Shen trap. At Worlds, Coach Reaper, who once was a coach for EDG, drafted the Shen saying, this is going to be a pick that will counter them. They will mess up and fall for this trap, and they did.
They were going to forget about the Shen ultimate. Team Snake right here, they have such strong catch potential with that Shen and the Camille pickup. At no point can EDG allow there to be a split push lane, because if Camille is collapsing anywhere, it's going to be a two-man missile.
Coming into this game, which composition do you like more? Because we can see, obviously, strengths and weaknesses from both, and obviously it's risky from EDG here, but they can execute.
I think that EDG's plan for execution makes more sense because, again, Crystal has been such a liability when you give him attention, but if they don't do it perfectly, they will lose this series at 25-30 minutes.
And this is now effectively a best of one now between Snake and EDG as we're about to hit the rift for game number 3 in the Snake Pit.
And it's not just the battle for best in the West, it's also the neighborhood battle. Snake and EDG go way back, used to be on the same street. Now, Snake has moved away to their Snake Pit.
Back with Aime.
Yeah, whoever goes in usually doesn't come back out.
What you could hear the crowd chanting right there was Chongqing Xiongqi, which means Chongqing Rising. A bit of a change on the usual Jiayo, but it definitely has a more local flavor to it.
Does it roughly mean the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Twitch chat, if you want an EDG win, get your Jios out. If you want your Snake win, how do you say it, Clement?
They will not be able to spell that.
You underestimate Twitch chat. I know you guys
I mean, they'll give it an attempt.
Okay, so I have to say, I'm not exactly sure about the pronunciation because the dialect difference in Chinese is actually larger than Latin languages, so...
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's Xiongqi, but it could be a bit different.
Get that Google Translate as we have, again, the standard bot lane start. Now, that said, it makes a lot more sense this time around for game number 3 because top lane is going to be where all the action is. This can really swing the game very volatile, and both junglers have a straight pathway there.
And what a world we live in where we're saying we should look at top lane for the early action. This is fantastic.
This should be your dream come true.
It actually is. We've had an Urgot series, an Urgot in this series. We've now got the Renekton into the Camille, of course, taking Resolve second. You have to go bone plating if you're into any type of trading matchup in the top lane, because if you don't, you will lose.
Ooh, it looks like Haro's actually setting up the same trap that he pulled in game number 2. So places the... Oh, no. He's actually just going to take it. I thought he was going to stand in the bush and set up another trap for SOFM to kill him on Raptor Camp.
Oh, man. SOFM will be very angry about this once he knows that Haro has come into his house and taken away his red buff.
Makes sense because Guogo has push priority, so he doesn't want to wait and try to take a 2v1.
Yeah, we've seen this being done with the Jarvan versus Sejuani matchup because you know you can win the 1v1 situation there. And a lot of the times, what SOFM likes to do with his jungle pathing is he really deprioritizes red. He doesn't take red until very late, until he's about to do a gank. So, really punishing the habit of SOFM there.
Very smart from Haro. We'll go back towards his blue buff and we'll get that triple buff down now. over Snake. And SOFM will actually just go from camp to camp. So he'll go from Raptors and go over to his Krugs to try and get that level 4 now, whilst Haro will move into the river and actually take away the crab.
And that's the scary thing there, is that now that FLICKR loses a lot of priority because he doesn't have the safety net of having scuttle vision control, it means that he can't be aggressive and try to take advantage of a lot of these trades. So by effect, Haro 3-buffing SOFM, it's actually bleeding into the top lane matchup unless Ray is caught here without vision. Does have a ward and try though.
Yeah. Basically, in this matchup, Camille needs to find some action before level 6. She's defined by her utility ultimate, while Renekton has a lot of damage and HP on his Dominus. So you're going to have to see an early gank coming out here from SOFM towards that top lane.
And even then, it is difficult, because if Renekton gets on top of you with the Slice and Dice, he will do a bunch of damage, and it's unavoidable to actually not take all that damage from his standard combo. Even though he doesn't really go Tiamat anymore very early, though he can, the damage still hurts.
I want to quickly point what SOFM just did. So his mid laner is back right now, and he pinged on both Crab and Raptor camp. I hope he starts with Crab and doesn't go immediately for Raptors. Okay, there he goes. Because, again, SOFM, he falls into this very predictable formula about how he passes around the jungle so he can make it the most efficient pathing, but it does mean that he can get caught out. But Haro also has a read on this, knows that the back has come, that he's going to be going for that Raptor camp, and he's gambling that SOFM is on the bottom side of the map.
Well, they definitely know he's there. Ryze is in also.
That was a big mess up by FLICKR right there. Hook shot into nothingness. We'll turn around onto Haro. Lost a lot of health by that 1v1 trade. We'll have to go back to base here, loses the entire minion wave.
It was bad for FLICKR, but that was about as good as he could get from that situation. He managed to escape the 3v1 incoming. There was nothing that mid lane could do at that point. So even though it's a teleport, even though it's a bunch of minions, that's about as good as you can play it.
And Haro also lost nothing in return. SOFM would crab Braum into Wolf Camp, so it didn't even touch the Raptors.
Really important stuff there from FLICKR. Really just great at damage control in that top lane, but it really has stemmed out of that jungle matchup. Grogu will push up here with the lane priority once more, get a ward into the FLICKR brush on top river.
This is really good warding coming out from Haro. If you look at the map, there's no way that Sejuani can actually go
Turn
through
the matchup.
Yeah, there's no way Sejuani can bypass all of these wards into the top lane, and she has to do that before that Dominus really kicks in. So it's a very short timing window.
Very short indeed, because level 5 have been hit now already by the solo laners, so it's a very small window indeed. It will be a back now from Ray, who'll get his first back of the game, start moving his way towards his Black Cleaver. SFM still being tracked in the jungle, has to clear away this control ward just behind his red pit as he moves towards the top lane here. So he's going to give it a shot before level 6 gets completed now.
See if Ray falls for this. Is level 6.
Yeah, just dinged. FLICKR is not, however. FLICKR will need to get this level 6 because he can't lock down Ray. Ray hits the Dominus early. He will be locked down by the CC from SOFM, but they just can't do it.
Yeah, there's nothing they can break there. He's got the tankiness of having his ultimate as well as that double damage, or more damage amplified, but then he's also got his flash available. And with SOFM giving himself away, and Guogo way overreaching. Oh, Jarvan.
I was surprised that Haro didn't go in immediately there. He just kind of chilled for a bit and then walked in.
I think it's because he was prioritizing the blue buff timer. I think Haro was in the area because he wanted to place down some deep vision there, but...
It looked like he was in catwalk looking for the gank though,
his trinket's not up. That was weird.
Have to take another look at that one. Mako, the engage right here, as Chris will jump back. Mako makes a lot of damage in return just to get the stun down.
Yeah, Udis started that one. Just trying to get a bit of damage down.
Overall, Grogo will get away with it in the mid lane though, so he'll probably go back to base shortly as he is basically out of mana. So we will see SOFM in the top river just being tracked once again by Ray.
This is intelligent from SOFM. He wants to do it again when he doesn't have the Dominus down. But Ray obviously sniffs that out.
Yeah, pretty important Scryer's Bloom right there as well, because level 6 from SOFM and FLICKR would be able to keep him in place.
It's also really good synergy between him and Guogo. It's not just about how he's linking up with the top lane, although Guogo's now taking his back. It was how he's linking up with the Azir, the fact that they were getting mid lane priority, so SOFM was being covered if EDG tried to collapse on him in this jungle.
We should also note that even though he was 3 buff, SOFM actually has the experience lead right now. He does have the ultimate. So not a lot of the vision control and like taking away of his jungle has affected him.
This has actually been a really interesting and intelligent game between both the junglers in terms of the vision control, how they're acquiring the information, hunting each other, and then reacting with the information gathered. I think this is probably one of Haro's best pathing games that we've ever seen from him. He is not getting blown out of the water by SOFM. He's actually doing a great job of containing him and keeping up with him.
And it seems like just even to start the game, he just gave it a shot, right? He wasn't coming into it being like, well, I'm just going to get defeated by SOSM, so I'll look towards the team, I'll see what I can do with the plays in bot side or even mid lane. It was, I will make a proactive play, take away red buff, punish the habits of SOFM, and actually get a lead.
But it looks EDG are going to rotate top.
Yeah, but we should check also the bot lane as well. So we saw SOFM, he pinged out the vision where EDG had the vision, and he was in position to get a gank. EDG very intelligently, they know all their members are on the top side getting blue, so they just back off.
Is Ray gonna take the long way around? He is. Okay, so multiple pings up in the top lane. Ray wants to break this.
Are they gonna meet though? Should be in vision, right? Oh no.
I don't think he was scored by that.
Yeah.
I know he's got a teleport from Mako. 3-man dive coming in. Ray clearing out the last of his minion wave, actually making a 4-man dive. Best of luck, Flandre. Dodges the flag and drag, and the Shen comes in, but it might be to his demise as well. Flandre's dead. First blood over to EDG, and a follow-up now onto Hudia. SOFM turns into the scene, but won't be enough though. He gets the lockdown to make a flash away, and multiple blinking red help us from EDG. They took a lot of damage coming out from that tower. Turn around, and Ray gets the kill onto SOFM. Mako, he's gonna get pushed back by Guoguo. 1 versus 1. Hudia is able to kill the enemy support. Pushed in by Guoguo once more. Can he back onto Mako? Last auto track finds it. Hudia backing away. It's 2 versus 2, but EDG, they're trying to make it out alive.
And there was so many good plays by either side right there. Guoguo individually helps carry Snake so they can neutralize a lot of this, but EDG, the fact that they don't forget about the Shen, that they bring not just 3 members, but 4 members to look for the dive. If Guoguo hadn't shown up and made the hero play with the flash, that would have been disastrous for Snake.
Just to note, that was a double teleport from the bot lane as well. Mako with his unsealed spellbook, able to teleport behind and make that a 4v1 play at the start of it. However, really well played by Snake. They were actually able to make that a 2v2 situation, so they canceled out the entirety of the kills. I will say this is still in advantage to EDG because Camille wasn't able to pick up anything.
Yeah, special props to Flandre as well, buying a bunch of time. He dodged the flag and drag from Haro using his ultimate at the same time, so he bought a couple seconds. His team was able to get and arrive on the scene. SOFM also turned up.
I mean, that was probably one of the best plays we've seen in the LPL, just from setup and then execution on top of it. Like, yes, all the mechanical things that are happening, but the fact that EDG got 4 people up here and that Snake never saw it coming until it was too late, put themselves in the situation, because how Snake reacts after the play has started means that this could have gone terribly sideways for EDG.
We do have a Flandre gank into the bot lane at the same time, picking up 2 kills, I believe.
Yeah, it was in the mid lane right there. 2 kills over to Snake. They just came in with a collapse underneath the tower, it looked like.
So no Stand United used, but still being able to get not even the Hextech ultimatum used. Huh. So just a Sejuani ult, able to clear up 2 kills in the mid lane.
Both of them.
Yeah. Flandre moving into the top side. Still doesn't have the ultimatum from another 5 to 10 seconds right here. SOFM will follow up, get the CC down onto Ray. The stun should follow. Follow up the hook shot into the ultimate. That is beautiful CC layering. And wow, it was a valiant attempt from Ray to try and turn around to SOFM. It will be another kill to Snake.
I could have swore about 30 seconds ago EDG were winning the game. Snake now find themselves with a big gold lead, and it feels like so much tempo reverse. Flandre no longer 0-1 and 0, now 3-1 and 0. This Camille is 100% back online.
So what I think happened right there is that we saw Scout entering the lane on low health and probably sticking around way too long, thought that his jungler could relieve him, and then both of them died to just Flandre coming in. So really good turn of events from Snake, able to capitalize on Scout being a bit greedy in the mid lane.
Okay, yeah, we get to see the mid lane once again. Yeah, Flash, Arctic Assault out from SOFM, delete Scout very quickly.
That was just greedy from Scout, to be honest. Like, he was coming off, he didn't reset. He wanted the minion wave. He wanted Haro to help him out.
And that is just classic Scout. We praise his mechanics all the time, but his individual decision making, especially when it comes to very arrogant calls like that, he always falls into that trap.
It just takes the team to be able to punish him, and Snake did it right there. So that will also have the domino effect move into the top side. And then finding Scout once again, just the side soldier was able to find Scout, lock him down, can't move anywhere. Haro wants to get involved, but not going to happen. Another pick, another kill to Snake.
And this is the point I've been talking about. I do feel like Snake have the better mid and jungle synergy. The last time that Snake and EDG met, Guoguo actually ran a clinic on Scout. Scout was demolished in lane, demolished in roaming. And again, we can see the effects here. Guoguo's not in a good matchup. Rise should actually win the matchup at this point in time, but he's getting out-rotated and punished for his greediness.
Well, Mako has something to say about this one. Great Arctic Assault onto Haro right there. We'll be able to turn this one around. SOFM, what a monster! Guoguo assists from over the wall, and now it will take 3 members to take down the boar and its rider. But another kill over to Snake.
And that's classic EDG. So if Scout is being punished by Guoguo and SOFM, it's now time for Mako and the bot lane to punish Snake for any time they try to collapse. EDG are better in their 5v5 than they are in their skirmish, where it feels like Snake are better in their skirmish than they are in their 5v5, at least for this matchup.
EDG starting to pull back just a little bit, but Snake made massive waves in the early game here. Moving back towards his top lane, 3 kills now to FLICKR, and while he was suffering in the early game, maybe the jungle pathing wasn't going his way. In fact, he's just played this lane patient. He didn't try to force anything. He was just constantly looking to damage control all the time, and then when it was his time to shine, he came in with 3 kills.
That was really good trading there from FLICKR. He got the shield and cancel out Ray's W, so good prediction on that point.
There is pressure, though, because the top tower is so low that eventually EDG can just throw numbers at it and try to force down this first tower. Now, Snake do have the option that they can then look at the Mountain Drake if they don't want to contest for the tower to fall down and try to trade objectives, which is still very worthwhile, especially on this composition. But I have a feeling that EDG, after this blue buff, should actually just start throwing numbers at the top lane unless Snake can just start ramming it down mid and force them to respond to that pressure. They're just trying to alleviate FLICKR.
I do think it's a bit unfortunate that so far iBoy hasn't been involved in anything. Is 1-0-0. Okay, so he does have 1 kill, but he is sitting on a massive power spike, and that's a very good dragon. Yeah, that's a very good Drake for them, however. So I do actually feel like they're going to attempt to secure the Mountain Drake before they move top.
FLICKR backing away, hookshot opens some distance, flag drag, trying to get out of range, but another flash coming in from Haro means that he'll get the Cataclysm down, bring up the arena, and finally take down FLICKR.
I've just watched this team way too much. I just know what they're gonna do. So I mean, I agree with you, Clement. I think that they should have gone and utilized iBoy. I think that they do better when they 5v5 around it. They can get more, but the fact that they almost missed out mid lane tower. If Guoguo, I think, should have agreed for that.
Yeah.
Yep, but didn't in the end, and EDG, they rotate to top lane for us, and they knock down the tower. Ray will get the first tower of the game all to himself as well.
But again, I think it only pays off because Snake didn't execute properly in the trade. The fact that they could have traded mid-tower for that top tower and gotten it first, again, I agree with Clement. It should have been about the dragon, but they just...
Yeah, they just punished them. There's no other way to put it. Like, Sejuani was out of position.
There's not a word in English that I can really find right now.
I really describe the situation the way I want to. Mid lane tower will eventually fall over to Snake, courtesy of those caster minions. And Crystal and the bottom lane of Hudiet will continue laning. The back comes in from Mako as well, so they will get a bit of time, alone time, with the bottom lane turret. But Snake even this one up. Overall, still have the gold advantage and the more valuable tower in the form of the mid lane tower.
Now, the big question here is, can Snake transition that mid lane tower into the Mountain Drake? They kind of want to sneak it. EDG is very strong at this moment in time. So if they find a 5v5, it's very risky, but I feel like Snake have the map control to pressure it.
The other option that they could look for is trying to trade Mountain for Rift Herald, especially because I feel like they're actually really confident on the top side of their map right now. Yeah, they've been caught out by the vision because EDG do have more map control, but you can see that SOFM is starting to clear out a lot of that vision. You spend a lot of time up here.
Ray perhaps getting caught out on the top side. Ultimatum's down. SOFM wants to get this stun off. Great tactical sweep, and Ray once again stunned, follows it with the Arctic Prison, and Ray trapped in place. Really just surgical removal of that Renekton.
Good trade, like you said. They can actually open for the Herald right now.
Yeah, it should be top tower as well as Herald, but they need to pull Guoguo. Unless Guoguo wants to face check down, he should be rotating up.
He's not moving. He's currently still sat in mid lane. Now he's moving into the bottom side of the river, but
he's putting himself in between 2 EDG members. He's lost.
Well, he's actually going for the play. SOFM is rotating into the mid lane, and the Shen turns up to the player 3 versus 2. But the chase continues from EDG. Haro's waiting around the side. He's looking for it. And SOFM may take more damage from Scout right here. Another Rune Prison. The combo follows. Flag drag, forces the flag. Cataclysm onto 3! And Scout will find a kill onto SOFM. It's at least a return kill. A 1-for-1. In comes the round warp. How much distance can they close? Shen over the wall, and they get out there.
It's a really good collapse from both sides. The thing I want to point out here, it's very telling what Snake's objective trade was. They want Camille to be able to split push. They didn't go for the Herald. Instead, they left Camille alone in the top lane
for the
so
solo.
she could, so she could pick up more gold and finally get that lane rolling.
But what did they lose because of it? A lot of mid lane priority, possibly Azir.
Ooh, good cleanse.
Oh, that was scary.
Yeah.
They have a good trade here because they're trading the bot tower at the same time. So this actually goes into advantage for Snake.
Yeah, they get the bottom tower. They'll go all the way over to Crystal as well.
We talk about tempo advantage a lot, and it's a very abstract word, but I feel like actually that last 30 seconds is a good indicator of what it means in League of Legends, because that was Guogo using his cleanse to pretty much trade tempo around, buy time, and allow his team to trade forward, and now his members are healthy, they're getting back on the map, and Snake can start pressing forward and being very aggressive about if they're securing vision, if they're clearing out creep waves, if they're prioritizing solo EXP or gold on, say, their Camille in the top lane. It doesn't look like they're doing anything, but they're actually getting a lot right now, and EDG are getting virtually nothing in response or in return.
Sure, and if we take a step back as well, we're now approaching the 20-minute mark. We just crested 19 minutes into this game. EDG, you guys were talking about it, they have a mid-game composition, so they should be looking to try and win this one around the mid-game and maybe at the start of late game.
I mean, the classic was that Varus and Kog'Maw, the on-hit ADCs, that the LPL would utilize them, grab the 2 items, and then just say, we're just going to walk to Baron, and we're going to force a fight, and because you have a crit ADC, we're going to do more damage in the 5v5, typically was the idea, so that's what you're looking for with EDG, but it's not as cut and dry, because Snake have really good catch potential between their Sejuani and their Camille, and they have really strong side lane.
Basically, EDG, if they want to go for the Baron play, sorry, not Garen, they need to win the fight outside of the pit.
Yeah.
That's if there's an Azir around there, if there's an Ezreal that has a 5-man ultimate down there, it's very easy for things to go wrong. So what EDG are going to look for, set up vision, but use that realm warp, use the engage you have on the Jarvan and Alistar, and try to fight before starting the Baron.
And we talked about this in game number 2. Baron compositions and how EDG plays these comps around Baron, it is their bread and butter. It doesn't matter who is on their team, this is what they know how to do, and they're very well trained for it, especially from blue side. It's about getting Alistar on the back of the pit, using him as a zoning tool. However, at 20 minutes, it's really hard to do that. That's more of like a 30-minute Baron play, so EDG should know how to play this, but they feel a bit scattered right now.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to go down to they don't really have a lot of lane priority. The mid lane, you can see they're kind of splitting waves. Neither side is really taking it past the river. Here we have an engage coming in from EDG.
This is a heavy force.
Yeah, teleport comes in. What the heck was that?
He's trying to slow him down.
Yeah, through slowed down Scout, but it's still not going to be enough here, I don't think, because another stun comes out from Crystal right into the waiting arms of Mako. Didn't see a member there. It looked like it just hit the wall. I was like, what the heck?
But that was a ton expended just to pick up Crystal, and Guogo this time has the exact right response, as does Flandre. EDG lose so much chip damage on their structures.
Yeah, this is about playing the 1-3-1 out. iBoy caught in a bad position.
His flash is gone.
Way out. Yeah.
Which means you can't approach that Baron fight anymore because Varus doesn't have flash and you're against an Azir and a Sejuani.
Mako catches out Hoodir. He'll shadow dash away to relative safety. He's right behind Guogo, but the continuous CC means that eventually he's going to be slowed down. The damage coming through and the piercing arrow will eventually finish him off.
A lot of just tempo trading right here. EDG getting the better end of that. Scout not really, Hoodir not really, I think respecting Mako's Alistar enough. Mako still had his flash, so that play was always going to be there.
Yeah, and it's so important that EDG had to find something there, otherwise they would have lost huge. Again, losing the flash on the Varus, for the next 5 minutes, it's that much scarier to approach a Baron fight, because again, you cannot take that pit fight against an Azir and a Sejuani, especially without flash on your ADC, and their composition is online right now, so any sort of momentum trade where you don't have a key summoner, where you can't confidently say we 100% win this fight, you're losing a lot of power and a lot of snowball potential in this game against an Azir.
Yeah, you're looking at Snake with Azir and Ezreal. They have the range advantage, they also have the damage advantage come late game.
Red side rapid advantage too. I mean, the only way you can try to break it is maybe through a Rise Realm Warp, which has been pretty popular for blue side, but hard to pull off.
Yeah, and that Azir as well is already on 2.5 items. You can see he just had more gold than his counterpart in Scout. Picked up 3 kills and 3 assists in this one, so has been accelerated to that point where he will be strong. Just taking a look at SOFM, he's over the wall, looking for a potential catch if anyone from EDG pushes too far forwards. And he's moving up river with the rest of his team, clearing out this vision, placing down their own, and getting control over this Baron area.
Should have been spotted right there. You do see a lot of pings from EDG. Even if they don't have vision, they have very good guessing ability to where SOFM is setting up camp.
And now everyone from both teams is pretty much grouped up. You can see Scout is actually just on the top side, pushing out that wave, taking Grump, and then probably rejoining his team afterwards. But he might go in for a solid Snake solo expedition right now.
There's that lane priority you were talking about, Clement. The fact that it's slowing down EDG and how they're maintaining vision control over the neutral river means that Snake can inside track to Mountain Dragon, and they can even rotate over to Baron and probably catch them in time.
So Snake will pick up the Dragon, leave Flandre there. He can rotate to bottom lane as well, still has that teleport. Ray is with the team, so won't be able to meet him for a long while. Next Dragon will be Infernal. Eyes on that one, and Snake can now just get away with that Dragon. I need a team to start at the Baron.
It's a great sequence of play from Snake. Take lane priority, phase down to the Dragon, and no, they got something for nothing, basically. You also have to notice that Camille is slowly scaling up. She's going for the Ravenous Hydra.
EDG, they've actually just started this Baron, but what's come over, the blue trinket is expended from Snake, so that is the last remaining blue trinket from Snake, however, so that has been taken away.
That's a pretty crafty use of Shen ultimate to get Houdet there, so he can quickly reset his position, get his wards back topped off. So he's bringing not only his sweeper, but a full, all 4 wards, and then a lot of control wards.
Yep, so
Never
that
quite
won't be
seen it
seen
used
out.
like that.
Yeah, almost really never, actually.
It's really cool.
Now you think about it, that's actually a great use of the ultimate.
I was looking for the teleports, like, I definitely heard something.
I know, right?
It's like, oh, nobody TP'd. Ah, it was this Shen.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Moves up to the river, we'll be able to place all that vision. Crab's still down from EDG, so they saw it happen, but at the very least, Snake are able to regain control of the area now, move towards top side, get the lane push, and control these minion waves.
Look at this play in the bot side. This is so clever from EDG right now. They say they see the animation on Camille, and they guess that she's going to try to solo Ray down here. They put Scout behind him. However, it was spotted out by a very good Snake ward.
Mind games on mind games. So much of this has just been on the vision game from both of these two teams. It's Haro once again clearing out these control wards for us.
Yeah, it's just a tug of war right now, and like you said, this has been actually a really cool game from the vision standpoint alone. Not just in this Baron tango that we're watching, but again in the early game, Haro and SOFM. But here we go, finally some action.
Yeah, Flandre chasing down Ray. He's not winning this one, has to hookshot over the wall. Dominance used by Ray, however, Flandre did not expend his Hextech ultimatum. And Snake are actually looking for a potential collapse into this mid lane, but EDG wants it. They know that the top laner can't react to this one. SOFM, he's caught by himself. The Rune Prison's down. He flashes over the wall. Mako, he'll follow through along with Haro. Comes down with the Cataclysm, but the turnaround. Look at the damage out from Guogo. Look at the damage out from Crystal. And all of a sudden, it goes over to Snake. Guogo, he wants more. He wants to follow down. And that pulverize may have actually just sealed your doom, because now you've made the Wolves angry. 4 kills to Snake.
Great idea from EDG, but what is Scout doing? You don't need to go so deep for that play. They had to catch. They forced SOFM out, but then they overcommit.
And now you can see that Flandre has found Haro, the last remaining member from EDG. The only savior that they would have had, zones him off the Baron pit. And again, a composition that will outscale mid-game's, or EDG's mid-game comp, has Baron and is in a straightaway. They got a sprint. They got the win behind them.
Okay, well, we can see that again. The engage really came out from EDG.
Good
It
idea.
looked great. It looked great from the start.
It's a good idea to get Solfem out of the picture. SOFM, he does have a Warmox, but it doesn't matter. He needs to go to base at that point. But then Scout flashes into Azir and Ezreal. He just tunneled so hard on that play.
Just gets blasted, and Guoguo, so much damage. Now picks up 2 kills.
Scout, like Aaron said, is the double-edged sword of EDG. Sometimes he's great. He has great individual mechanics, but his on-the-moment plays and decision-making have really cost his team.
And that was a lot to cost. That was 4 kills, a Baron, now 2 minutes and 30 seconds left of that Baron buff for Snake to mount an offense. Do they have a banner? No, not, but SOFM is building one, so we'll probably have it before the end of Baron buff.
And it's also just a big compliment to Guoguo as well. We talk about, you know, the differences, the changes that Snake have made. Yes, individual performance pickups from SOFM and FLICKR, but also the addition of Guoguo to the team over Zatai. This guy is really the glue that pieced together all of Snake's performing parts. Sometimes his inexperience shows, he gets cut out in some certain rotations, but his team fighting is crisp and clean and some of the best in the LPL, and he is frankly outclassing Scout when it comes to these 5v5s.
And that is such a surprising thing to say, because we saw Guoguo last split. He had a couple games where he was subbing in, like we see with a lot of LPL teams, but he really developed coming into this split.
Yeah, and Scout was summer MVP for the final. You know, he is no pushover. He's an established name in the LPL, really made his career here because he never really accomplished anything over in LCK outside being FLICKR sub.
Yeah. Comes into the LPL, and right here, Guoguo is the one who's sieging the middle lane tower. So even brought up the Sun Disc, though with the Necromancer skin, I'm not sure we can call it that. And they will continue to push top lane. FLICKR, he's in the side lane, he's also got the Baron buff, and SOFM is even waiting in the wings just in case someone tries to collapse on FLICKR. He'll be able to take away this inner turret, no problem. And now the rest of the team will be able to group and look to try and crack this last line of defense from EDG.
They really need to catch out Camille when she comes in. That's basically the only way EDG wins a fight at this point.
Scout from the side has caught Hoodia, but he's not showing any signs of backing away. Now he's knocked in by Mako, but Haro, he was caught out. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but Snake definitely won that.
Look at what FLICKR did in that fight. He never overcommitted. He wasn't going in and giving them an easy target to focus on. Just hit the front line.
SOFM tanking the tower, doesn't even care about this one. It's basically a pea shooter at this point. And the inhibitor is being seized once more. This is 2 inhibitors down now from EDG and Snake. They get away with the spoils of war.
And this is such an important match for playoffs. We cannot say this enough. There are only 6 series left for every single one of these teams. And if you're caught in second place, that side of the bracket is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, you do not want to be there. It's essentially a death trap every step of the way. You're going to be facing someone who is exceptionally strong. You want to be on the top side.
It means the difference of even placing yourself over Rogue Warriors and getting a best of 5 to read them, to start preparing to get a strategy, and also the fact that you miss a little team known as Invictus Gaming.
Also, EDG are down 1-0 in the head-to-head so far. If they go down 2-0, they're going to need multiple games just to even the score.
Deep teleport from FLICKR. He is behind the enemy line for certain, but he almost blows up Mako by himself. That damage was absurd from a Camille. Ray is trying to make it out. There's the hook shot and the ultimatum. Ray, he's got the stopwatch, but the rest of the team has abandoned the crocodile. 2 kills over to Snake, and they are looking for more.
That looked like giving up on life from Mako. He actually didn't use his ultimate.
And so FAM's trying to find another pick onto EDG, the 3 remaining members. And a hook shot once again, FLICKR finds the assassinate onto iBoy. Snake, they are looking to kill the last remaining member of EDG. Scout moves towards the turret, but he is down, he is out, he is 6 feet under. And Snake, they're looking for the win.
And not only do Snake now prove themselves the best in the West, but you now know exactly who the 4th best team in the LPL is.
And Snake push in, Mako comes back up once more. But ladies and gentlemen, the Snake Pit has claimed another victim, and Snake are definitively #1 in the Western Conference.
This must be exciting for Snake, putting a 2-0 over their previous neighbors, their elder brothers in the LPL, showing themselves as the better team, growing out of the shadow of EDG.
And I can't say I've been this excited about Snake since 2015. They came crashing into the LPL when they first had their split, and it's just kind of been a roller coaster of emotion since then. For Snake fans, this is a very sweet payoff. Through all of the pain, through all of the tears and disappointment, you guys are finally on the podium.
A bit of a disappointing game from EDG here. Actually had control most of the way through, but very obvious mistakes coming out from Scout, costing them very heavily. Congratulations to Snake here, best in the West.
Yeah, and we can announce it. You can officially be excited about Snake as they take their bow in their home arena. And all of their fans while stepping up, moving towards the stage. That is a packed house every single time we see Chongqing. And for good reason. I'd probably also want to see the best team in the Western Conference.
It means that the only 3 teams that Snake have lost to, Rogue Warriors, Invictus Gaming, and Royal Never Give Up.
Yep. As many ERGOT games as we've seen in the LPL.
And if they retain their spot at they retain, that was good, retain their spot at the top. That is only 2 best-of-5s away from an MSI invitation. Finishing second in Spring Split is also a huge boom to placing yourself in good standing for regional qualifiers, so you would even have a better shot at Worlds. This could be the first year that we see Snake actually make an international berth.
They always say every time, even in the times where they placed 10th in the LPL, they were going to be #1. They were going to hold the cup someday in playoffs. Their manager, Zuo Wu, always very confident in his team.
And the thing is that Snake are known as the scrim killers. They are devastating in scrim culture in the LPL, dominating all the teams, but they've never been able to get that success to the spotlight until now.
I don't know what the secret ingredient was. Maybe it was getting their own arena, not having to travel around, you know, feeling at home almost on their own stage, but Snake have looked absolutely fantastic over this split. And while they did, as you said, drop games against the Eastern Conference, the beasts that lie in wait over there, they did get crushed by those teams, and EDG looked better. But today, they've shown that Snake are definitively better than EDG. Yeah, it has to be the big difference maker in the mid lane. Guoguo really outplayed his counterpart this game, catching out Scout multiple times, and also he never gave up mid pressure in the matchup against the Rise. He was always there on the follow-up. The first big dive where EDG could have completely break the game, he was there to save it and make it a 2 versus 2.
Now surely Guoguo will get man of the match.
What are you talking about? Of course it was FLICKR.
I actually think it might be FLICKR, but there's a good chance.
Guoguo played that phenomenally. And like Clement said, you are the better analyst. You win for today. It was about the 2v2, the mid-jungle, and that Snake were just far superior against Scout and Haro.
MVP Analyst Award goes to Clement. He will be our
I don't know what you think
analyst
is up
of
there.
the match.
I'm waiting for a cookie to drop down or something, you
the
know?
balloons, the confetti.
Is that anything up there? We prepared anything? No, unfortunately, you'll just get our words for it. But that was honestly a great performance by Guoguo, as you guys were saying. The fact that a lot was resting on his shoulders as well. You know, he was the late game insurance in terms of damage on the Azir. And you know what, guys? He will be our MVP. He will be our man of the match.
All right, there we go.
We did it. We got one. 10-0-6. There's no way you can't give it to this man. And like we said during the game, this guy is the glue. Why are Snake actually appearing again? FLICKR stepped up, SOFM stepped up, and they got a mid laner that packages all nicely together.
Yeah, the word glue has never been so sexy as to describe a player in the LPL, but that was some damn good
That was a strong word choice.
Right.
I feel like
I didn't know about
you
that.
can reach for anything, you're like, sexy. That's the one.
Yeah.
There's two things I really love about him as a rookie. First of all, he's able to initiate. That's something a lot of rookies aren't able to pull the trigger on. They're hesitant. But him on his rise, he's always willing to use a Realm Warp and suddenly collapse on someone. You remember how many Snake games the Observer suddenly changes to some place and you see Guoguo there standing on top of a body. That's how Guoguo plays. The other thing I really like about him is he's very, very patient in losing matchups. He's always been first picking, blind picking for Snake, and he's still doing very well. That's huge props to him. He's facing a lot of counter matchups, but he knows how to play them out, and he knows when he should follow up in terms of the roaming.
And this sounds really strange to talk about. When we talk about like sides of team fighting, a big complaint that I have against Scout is that he's never on the right side of a team fight. And what this is actually translating into is your mid laner, often with their champions and the kits that they have so much more zone control than pretty much any other champion on the map, maybe save for like a jungler like Sejuani or something like that. And if they're not standing on the right side of the fight, then that means their AD carry, their support, everything is basically exposed. And Scout constantly almost tunnels on the target that he wants, but he's not thinking about his team behind him. Guoguo does not have that problem. He is almost everywhere he needs to be. It's not just his engage potential, but it's also in these long drawn out sustained fights when he is on that backline, he's always standing, he's always protecting, he's always allowing people like SOFM, FLICKR, and Crystal to output and maximize their damage output because he can't dive back onto them. Guoguo's right there. Whereas if it's Scout, you have full access to iBoy. Either iBoy's way too far forward or Scout's way too far away. They're just not moving together.
If I'm coming in here dragging out a storyline from game one and placing it on the table, then we were talking about how EDG, it seems like their problems run pretty deep in the team as well. And if we see that against Snake here, and we say that the three teams in Eastern Conference are top 3, then they are going to be 5th in the LPL when we take a look at the entire standings. So it's just like, well, right here we need to start seeing like what exactly is wrong with EDG moving forward, because they need to fix it, because if you're not a top 4 team as EDG, the flagship team of the LPL, something's wrong.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about EDG, if you look at where they were successful, it was actually with the early Snowball bot lane and the Malzahar compositions that they had earlier in the split. They're not very good in 5v5 teamfights. Like FrostCurrent just said, Scout's never in the right position for them to actually fight front to back. And they don't also have a very good early game because Haro is not exactly your top jungler. If he faces Flawless, if he faces Karsa, you don't expect that to go well. So what they're really good at are those mid-game teamfights where they can out-rotate people and out-catch people. However, in this meta, when they're also very hesitant to put Scout on things like Sion, which I'm actually a bit surprised about, they don't really have the catch potential.
Right. Any thoughts on that, Frost?
No, but yeah, I agree, 100%.
Okay, yeah, me too. So
Yeah,
let's
we're
go ahead and
completely-
take a look at the standings and how they are shaping up after today's matches. Now you will see at the bottom, at the start of today, Vici got the 2-0 over OMG. They're now 2-12, OMG 3-11. So right on their heels, Vici, if they can get over OMG, that would be great improvements for themselves and their org in the LPL. However, on the top side of the, I want to say top side of the map, on top side of the scoreboard, you can see 10-4 now, definitively the best in the West, Snake Esports.
So this is what you guys need to zone in on. So you see where JD and Suning are, you zone in on that because that spot is not shored up yet. And then you see where RNG and WE and BLG are. That's what you're trying to dodge. You are trying to dodge the Uzi, Karsa, MLXG, Let Me, Zatai, whatever it's going to come out there. And WE and BLG, they're not fighting each other. They're literally looking across the gauntlet saying, we do not want to face that. So it is definitely a race for third, while the race for fourth in the East is the competitive one.
Also, you have to say today, EDG, with them dropping to second, they are facing RNG coming from the other side of the bracket in that matchup. Also, a very tough one.
It is. So looking at those standings, who are you guys most excited about? If we have to pick any of the top 5 teams now, any of our top 4 teams, which team would you be like, this is my team? This
We
is
have the same
Rogue
who I'm
Warriors.
excited about.
Yep,
Both Rogue
Warriors.
Warriors. Well,
Yeah.
there you have it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings. If they lock the standings right now, what would playoffs look like? This is what it looks like. And Frusk, we were talking about this one. You even just mentioned it. WE, RNG, EDG, Invictus Gaming. They're all on the same side.
Yeah, and I do want to point something out, that the fourth and third, that is not a mistake. So because it's a weighted King of the Hill gauntlet, if you come in as the 4th place seed in a best of 5, you come in a game down, which means that for, that is a mistake on the bottom side, for RNG and for Suning, you're basically playing a best of 3 versus a best of 5.
I could see the cogs turning in Clement's brain currently.
Because you already have a game advantage.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I know that.
He's like,
No.
1, 2. No, and then just the fact that you see, like you said, those people think about the LPL. You ask any Western fan, name some teams from the LPL that are top teams. EDG, WE, RNG would probably be your guess.
Yeah.
Probably talking about Invictus Gaming, and all 4 of them are currently on the bracket side of death. And I don't even think it's necessarily the strongest side of the bracket, just because the East has shown how competitive it can be. But that's certainly a lot of fan favorites that are all playing in traffic right now.
Exactly.
If you
Because
talk
at some
about
point
the
they will be
conference.
eliminated, Clement.
You look about it, it looks very much like you're going to have 3 teams from the East in the semifinals and possibly Suning taking out BLG very early on. So it's a very scary situation here, and I think we're going to see a civil war at the top side of the bracket somehow.
I'm sorry, you said scary situation and looked behind me. I was like, I'm sorry, it's someone off
That's
screen.
the west side. That's the west side. I'm looking at the
Blink
west
twice
to
for
see
yes.
if they have any chance.
But yeah, so this is not the end of week 8. However, we have more games coming up at the end of this one. So let's go ahead and take a look at Friday's matches, because League of Legends does continue in the LPL. Invictus Gaming will be taking on JD Gaming, who, by the way, took down RNG yesterday 2-0. And EDG, oh, sorry, spoilers. EDG will take on Vici at the end of that day as well in Chongqing.
Yeah, basically miracles do happen, and what's exciting here is that we do expect Invictus Gaming to be the heavy favorites coming into this, but Yagao, this guy on your screen, if you want to pay attention to a rookie, like if I could give rookie of the split, it might actually go for Yagao. I just think that guy is so impressive. He reminds me of a very young Xiaohu.
Yeah, and the scary thing about the East side, the 2 best early game teams are actually not the top teams. They're Suning and Jingdong right there. Jingdong still have the best first blood participation. A lot of it going to that jungler, Klid, and the coordination with Yagao right there. So there is a chance they could actually take down IG.
Yeah, this team's starting to look like a bit of a dark horse, but that is going to do it from today on our special broadcast of the LPL here on a Wednesday. So from myself, my analysts, everyone in the production team, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll catch you on Friday.